don't know how you're going to do it until you try it, right? I would not necessarily encourage that at a beginner level, but as you develop your players and stuff, I think it's something fun to do, all right? So then X5 is fed. They're going to come up. They're going to catch a feed from X4, okay, right here. X4 feeds them. They're going to do a rocker, okay, what you saw in the video clip. So they're going to come up this way. They're going to catch, plant, go back, and then finish with a lefty. Okay? So you don't have to do that. That's what some of mine do. Okay? If you want to up it, otherwise just feed, shoot. And then X1 finishes off feeding to X4 for a shot there.
Can you go through that again?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. You didn't get all that down?
A little slow, just a little. I got
okay.
one.
No, that's fine. I talk fast. I'm from the South, but everybody asks me, are you from the North? And I go, why? I go, because you talk too fast. Sorry. So I didn't think I talked that way. I think it's the teaching, and you only have 45 minutes to teach, and you've got to try to get everything in. I'm blaming on the testing. Sorry. Come on, it's a Saturday afternoon. We've got to have a little fun. All right, so there we go. So again, and I just switched back X4 and 5 because I had a number wrong earlier. My apologies. So we're going to give and go here. So we're going to pass the ball to X2. Okay, X1's cutting to the cage, X2's feeding them. So that's step one. So X1 and X2 are going give and go. Just do this up here. All right, so once that happens, X2 cuts across 8 meters. Okay, feed from X3. So there's my feed. Right? So there's their shot, there's that. Right? So then, sorry, left-handed problems. I have to reach across the board. X3 cuts down, feed from X4, which is over here. So X3, this is where I just made the change. That should be X4, this should be X5. Okay? They're going to come up, they're going to attack, they're going to look to feed X3, X3 shoots. Right? X4 drives up, looks for feed from X5. Okay, so she drives up. As she comes up, X5 is attacked, probably popping back out, and then feeding X4, okay, for the shot. Bless you. Okay. X5 drives into the 8, feed from X1. Does that help? You're welcome. Absolutely. Thanks for asking. I had a feeling I was supposed to ask. It's okay. And again, that's just a basic. One of the biggest things I've found is that the more kids I can get involved at once, the better off. Okay? Because you want to, you lose them, okay? Especially when you're standing around waiting for their turn. You know, we don't do as much shooting shuttles anymore because they just kind of stand around and then they start talking about their day. And if it gets close to that week in April when you have spring break, they start talking about what their plans are for spring break. If any of you have early proms like I do, right in the middle of the season, that distracts them. You know, then all of a sudden it becomes graduate. There's always something that they can talk about, so I try to keep them busy so they can't talk. Just one of the things. Okay? All right. Any questions on any of those? I just literally I put up a few of them that I quickly could come up with, just shooting wise. Right? All right. Not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I couldn't go through an offense and talking about you know cuts and picks and stuff like that. You know, big thing, you know, with us is we V-cut, you drive into the defender, you step back or pop back so you can catch a pass, all right? The other option is this backdoor cut, all right? Look for the ponytail. It's really funny when I'm playing defense on somebody, and every once in a while I'll do that, and I'll be playing somebody, and I'll turn my head, and they go, and then my assistant coach will go, well, why didn't you cut? And they go, I was looking for the ponytail. Coach doesn't have one. I go, right. Coach doesn't have any hair. I go, once you see my eyes turn away, then you go ahead and go. And then, oh, okay. So, I do have some that have done that. So not as many. I like to make fun of them every once in a while. Not when they're around. Off-ball picks. Okay? Offensive player sets a pick for a teammate to get open. You know, again, the purpose here is to create open space for your teammate. You know, it's a very selfless act to create a pick for somebody else to score. Because in the end, we all know we all want to be able to score. We all want to be able to catch. We all want to be able to put the ball in the net. Hey, yay! I scored. I'm the reason we won. Right? But then when you start thinking about it, you start looking at it, and you go, well, wait a minute. It wasn't necessarily, you put the ball in the back of the net, but it was your teammate that helped you out by setting that pick so you could get away from your defender. Okay? And that's a big emphasis. And I'm going to get into a little bit more on off-ball, on-ball picks in a minute. Just kind of some ideas that I have. Okay? On-ball picks, you create an opportunity for the ball carrier to drive to the cage. Okay? Purpose here, maybe you're helping with an isolation or an ISO, or the pick setter can then drop step and flash to the goal. So what we'll do a lot of times, and this kind of goes into a little bit of one of the things we've really been working on offensively is we've been working on a two-man game concept. I have my seniors are very good. I have the one going to Kennesaw, I have one going to LaSalle, and I have a junior who just committed to Arizona State. So it has nothing to do with me, it's all them. They're just very good. But so with them, I can get into a little bit of this. But they will, we'll go in, we'll set a pick. Okay, pick the girl will come off, she'll go to ISO, and we'll just immediately, we'll kind of do like a drop step, feed me here, and then I'll just kind of dunk it in. Kind of a little bit of an idea that we've been playing around with that's helped us pick up some quick goals in times where we've needed it. Okay. Questions so far? Good? Doug, am I okay on time? I guess so. All right.
You got like 15 minutes or so.
15 minutes? Perfect. Hey, look at that. I got the drills right as that. Okay. I put a list of several different drills up here. Literally I was trying to narrow down my list of drills. To understand where this comes from and kind of where my background is, hey, I'm a student of the game, right? Because obviously when I started coaching girls lacrosse, I knew nothing. I had to teach myself, and I picked people's brains, I've borrowed people's ideas, whatever you can do. There are amazing resources out there. I did all the U.S. Lacrosse coaches certification programs, level 1, level 2, level 3. I've gone to, I've picked college coaches' brains, even at 3 o'clock in the morning, at camps and stuff. Whatever you can do to help develop your kind of repertoire to make you comfortable. All right? So just to give you a couple ideas, this first one, this 4 corners with 2 lacrosse balls, I showed my kids that one last year. And when I first started talking to them about it, they went, "What in the world are you doing?" I go, "Hang on a second, give me a little credit here, give me the benefit of the doubt." And I said, "You got a little leeway." I said, "Okay." So here we go. So I just go 4 cones, probably 10 yards apart. All right. So this will be our primary person right here. Okay. So and I'm just gonna we'll circle her. All right. So I've got a ball 1 here, ball 2 here, no ball there. And it's just a reaction drill, just passing, catching, trying to get them to think and react, okay? Because the one thing on offense, and it drives me nuts at times, okay, is we'll get somebody with a ball, and they'll stand there and they'll hold it, and they will look around, and they will try to see who's open, okay? And by the time they've gone from one side of the field to the other side, they've got 3 defenders on them, and the ball's getting turned over going the other way. You've got to be able to react a lot quicker. All right? So with this one, we're playing 4 corners, we have 2 lacrosse balls. So ball starts ball 1, and it's just a quick passing and catching drill. Okay? I'm going to throw the ball here immediately, without even thinking about it. They're turning, they have to know where the open player is. Okay? So the ball goes from here up to there. And once I've thrown that ball, I'm turning here, I'm getting the ball here, and I got to know that it's going back there because that's the open player. And we go through this for a minute. They're on a timer, 1 minute. Where they're sitting there, and I'm catching the ball, and I'm turning, and I'm looking here, and I'm catching, and I'm turning, right? And it's about footwork, and it's about turning and being aware and knowing who's open. They'll go a minute, we'll rotate. Every person has to play the corner, okay? And then we'll move, and that gives me about, with time to change up and everything, it's about a 4.5 to 5 minute drill, which is about what I try to keep mine. If I go any longer than about 8 minutes in a drill, okay, my kids and myself included are bored, and we're thinking about what we have to do after practice. So I try not to do that. All right? So that's my 4 corners, 2 lacrosse balls. All right? So I go from that to another one that we've used a little bit. This 3-on-1 without a goal, put them in the middle of the field, okay? And really just create a triangle with some players. Okay? Put a defender right in the middle. Have somebody, and this is an important part, okay? Because we always emphasize, and sometimes I think it gets forgotten, okay? We always emphasize teaching kids how to catch and throw both ways. So when you run your drills, make sure you run your drills in a way that they can catch and throw both ways. So I'll put somebody else or coach or something over here on this side. They'll be the one to throw the ball in. And it's very simple. The ball goes here. As the ball goes there, you make the defender choose. Okay? You're not telling the defender what to do. The defender's just going to go. The defender's going to go to one of these 2. They're either going to go down here to 1 or 2. Okay? So if the defender goes here, where should we be throwing? We should be throwing back over here, right? Okay? How many times have you seen in a game where you're sitting there and the girl's got the ball, okay? There's 2 players and she throws it to the one that's coming. And you look at it and you go, well, why'd you throw it there? Well, I thought she was open. Well, okay. Did you not see? No, I never saw her. Okay? So this is emphasizing, this is developing those ideas of trying to think, okay, on your feet and have a plan. Have a mental plan to what you're going to do when you get the ball. Because we all have those players that know what to do. And we all have those other players that are like, okay, when I get the ball, what do I do? Okay? Probably more on your JVs than on your varsities. Okay? But as beginning players develop and continue to grow, that's one of the things that will happen. All right? So we go through a couple. I put on here, Jay mentioned it earlier in his defensive drill, the 3v3 half side. I do the exact same thing, but from an offensive standpoint. Okay? But I'll build up to it. I'll go 3v1 half side, 3v2 half side, 3v3 half side. Because of the changing in the women's game and the rules and going to where you can play more man up, more man down, you have to teach kids how to play in odd numbered situations. I'm a huge proponent of that. In fact, when we start on the 25th, most of what we'll do from day 1, probably for the first week, maybe a week and a half, will be odd numbered things. We won't really get to any even type of offense defense, okay, until we're beginning to get into the season, maybe a couple of days. Right? Because I want my defenders to react to what my offense is doing. Okay? To constantly be moving and to constantly be thinking. And I graduated several and I've got to replace a bunch, so that's the other reason why. So I got to get them moving. Okay? Probably 2 of my, two of the other ones on here that I really like. Okay? And we did this one a lot this summer. You can do, and this is one of the things I like, is you can do this one from anywhere on the field. We did it this way, okay? We literally had 3 lines. And I put all my defenders over here. And when I call them defenders, I include the midfielders. My midfielders got to run defense too. Okay? So I'm going to go X1, X2, X3. All right? And we'll come out right off the bat and I'll say, all right, first 2 defenders. So I'll put 2 defenders out here. Okay? And it's basically going to be 2-on-2. Right now in this first round, X1 and X2 are going. Okay? The feed comes from, I can spell feed, it comes from X3. So X3 is going to feed the ball here, so then it becomes these 2 versus these 2. And they go to goal. You do this from the cage. It should be pretty quick. Right? And then once they're done, immediately X1 sits out. Okay? The next person in line behind X1 feeds the ball across the field to X3, and then it becomes, so this one, feed from X1, and it's going to be X2 and X3. This is the same player. Okay? So they're going back to back. The defense hasn't changed yet either. The defense has to go 6 reps. Okay? Offense is going 2 at a time. Okay? So X1 and X2, then we go X2 and X3. Okay? So then the next one, okay, is going to be a feed from X2. It's going to be X3 and X1. Okay? So then that way, every player has gone twice. And then when you rotate new groups in, you bring in new defenders. And they're playing 2v2 here. They're playing a 2v2 that way. I'm playing a 2v2 there. That's just how we set it up. There's nothing that says you can't set it up on this half of the field or on this half of the field. Or 2 behind and 1 up top. Okay? It's one of those drills that we've just kind of used and kind of developed and added some things to and different things like that. But it's been really successful for us. Okay. Last drill on this scenario, then I'll go into talking about a little bit more. Anybody have a question on that one? That go slow enough? Good. So then the next one I do, and I actually borrowed this one from Jack McIlvain at Chattahoochee. We were running tryouts and practice and stuff for national tournament last year, and he goes, "Here, let's do this." I was like, "Okay, this is a good idea." So what we do here is it's a 3v2 build-up. We'll kind of go up here, maybe the 30. Okay, we'll start with an offensive group here, an offensive group here, an offensive player up here, defender, defender. Okay. One of the biggest things that you have to develop in your game. Okay, it gets real easy to just say, "All right, X1, you get the ball. Start with the ball." Is that how the game works, though? Probably not. Most often, it's not. So what we kind of transition to doing now. Okay? Put the ball out in front of them. Put the ball on the ground in front of them. Okay? Make them go ahead and start with a ground ball entwined into this. It completely changes the dynamics. So now all of a sudden, whoever's up there, oh, I got to get a ground ball. Then I got to get my head up and see where everybody's at. And that's what you do. So it's 3v2. Okay? Should be X3. Okay? So X1, X2, X3. They ground ball. They come in. They play 3v2. All right? So we've gone 3v2. We've gone 3v2. I jumped ahead. So then the next idea is, okay, well, how do we make it a little bit fairer for the defense? Because by this time, my defensive players are going, this isn't fair. This is all offensive practice. And I'm going, okay, you're right. Let me help you out a little bit. So then what I'll do is I'll go 5 yards behind X1. Okay? There's my recovering defender. So now I've gone 3v2 to 3v3. All right. Then add another X down low. So now I've gone to 4v3. Then you add a defender. 4v4. So all of this is building up. And all of this, we're starting, you can pull them out as far as you want. And you're mixing kids in constantly. Constantly having new kids, new players come in, do new things. Okay? So then, what do you do when you go 5v4? Well, a lot of people go, well, you just go ahead and add the low attack player. No, that's not what I want. Because if I go ahead and add the low attack player, we're just going to slowly bring the ball down and it's going to become settled and nobody's really going to work. So I'm putting my D and my X5 out top. Okay? And I'm not putting the defender to start. And when I do put my defender, go 5v5, then I add my defender there. Right? And then I go 6v5 with X6, 6v6 with a defender, and then finally the last person I put in 7v6, and I'll put my last offensive player down there, okay? And then 7v7, I'll put my last defender down here. But that one right there, I mean, you can spend as much time and as much scenarios right there in that one drill as you want. And get all kinds of work and all kinds, you're working communication, you're working ball movement. You could start in that scenario and get into more of a team idea, however you wanted to look at it. All based out of that one kind of set. But you're forcing kids to be involved. That's my biggest thing. Right? Let's see, I guess it'll be 4 years ago. It's the biggest our program has ever been. I had 23 freshmen come in that year. We had 53 girls that wanted to play lacrosse. Okay? I actually ended up somehow running some form and version of a 9th grade team that year. Okay? Because my philosophy was, if girls want to play, I'm going to find a way to get them to play. Okay? I don't really like turning people down to play the game. If they want to learn to play, let's teach them to play. That's one of my big kind of proponents. I'm still a growing program. You know, I'm almost we're 8 years old now, 8 years into our season. I still consider us a growing program. Because I'm still 10 years behind Fulton County and Cobb County. I always will be.
Travis, got about 10 minutes.
Thank you. I'll be quick. Right? Questions so far with any of that? All right. I know it's getting late, so let's see what else I got here. This is, a lot of people have different ideas. All right. This is kind of one of the ones we've used, and I'll explain my philosophy. There's 2 ways I've seen this done. Okay. This is the way I like to do it. And I'll be honest with you, it's probably because it's my football background. Okay? Because to me, in my mind, it's a lot easier to say, okay, I'm standing in the goal, this is my odd side, this is my even side. Okay? To me, it makes a lot of sense, because if you start going, the other way I've seen the numbers is I've seen it numbered in a circle, where you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 back here. But to me, it's hard for me to explain why 6 is way over here, and then 7 is back up here. It looks like a baseball diagram. Still don't understand that. Okay? So, in talking with some of the college coaches and in coming up with some ideas, one of the things we came up with was this right here. Split the field in half. This half over here, if I'm standing in the goal, this half over here is your odds, this half over here is your evens. Okay? It'll make it a lot easier to tell the girls. Okay? We're going to attack from the odd side. We're going to attack from 1. Everybody knows where 1 is. We're going to attack from 4. Everybody knows 4 is over here on the elbow. Okay? So, to me, that's one of those ideas that we've been able to develop with our game. We want to run, I'll tell my kids that we're going to run a 2-man game with 4 and 6. So we're going to attack with these 2. So 7 knows that they're the adjacent, but they need to kind of creep back but be ready to help out. 2 knows that if the ball comes this way, they need to slide behind the cage, but be ready to be an outlet. Okay? 1's probably rotating up. If 2's coming this way, 1 probably rotating up here to occupy space here. 3 going to probably pull out farther. 5's probably pulling out farther. Create space. That's what it's about, creating space as much as possible. So that's one of the things we really try to use. And if you use this, or you use something like this, what's nice is not only can you use it on offense, but you can flip it over and use it defensively too. Okay? Your goalie. Ball's at 4, ball's at 4. Okay? Watch a cutter at 5, cutter at 5. Okay? So now all of a sudden, you've got terminology, and it's consistent. Because that's one of the biggest things I've found, okay, with students today. You have to be consistent in what you say. So what better way to be consistent than using something like this, or whatever fits your program, okay, in a way that helps you guys out. This is just one of the things we've done. Some kids get it real quick. Other kids, not so much. My big thing, team concepts, we really like to run a lot of 2-man game. We'll kind of play around with that. It's fun for us because we can we'll work in the give and goes, the draws and dumps, and clear throughs and dodges. That's this idea of getting 2 players. You get everybody, just because you're playing a 2-man game, doesn't mean it has to be the same 2 every time. Okay? All 7 people need to be involved. Right? If if these two over here are going to be working the offense, then the 5 of us need to be actively moving and keeping the defenders on their toes. Because we never know when a defender is going to slide, and we're going to have to catch a pass and maybe take a quick shot, especially at the end of the game. Draw and dunk, probably one of my favorite plays. You know, nothing better than attacking a goal, pulling 2 defenders, and once they get there, just back step out a little bit. It's the only time I ever get to present them. I was a quarterback. Okay, that never was. Right? Can't throw with anything. So I drive into the goal, take a couple steps back. There's my quarterback drop, and then I make my pass. Dump it right over the defender's head. Because those defenders see me coming, and they're just like, whoa. Especially if you know, especially when you start to scout and you start to look at your opponents and you start to think about, okay, you'll identify in your opponents, okay, who are the weaker players. And that's not saying there's anything wrong with that, okay? But everybody, you're quickly able to find out, okay, can that girl just go right-handed? Can that girl, is she just a lefty? Does that girl really want the ball? And when you start finding those players, here comes those defenders. Those defenders get there, that girl better know how to get separation and pass the ball. Don't be one of those that's kind of looking for somebody to throw a ball. Okay. This is kind of the last thing, and let's see, I think I zoomed in. Yeah, here we go. This was something we started focusing on, and I kind of worked on a lot this summer with some kids I was working with. A lot of times people get frustrated and they get kind of stuck in the idea of, you know, who sets the pick? What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? So what we started talking about with the coaches I was working with is we said, well, what about this? Ball carrier comes down, right? They make the pass to a teammate. Where does the one who just threw the ball go? She cuts. Which way? Who decides? Why away? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just asking.
Well, I guess it depends where everybody is and where the goal is.
Correct. Goal's out there. So I come top center. I make the pass this way. Where do I go? Is there a right answer? Not necessarily. One of the things we started teaching our kids is you bring the ball down and you make that pass. You just threw the ball. It's up to you to decide what's going to happen next. Do you throw the ball and then go set a pick right away to allow that player to come off their pick on an ISO? It's an option. Or you come back, you throw the ball here, go this way, and set a pick. Now you've got that, the ball's over there. This girl that was here is now coming off of your pick, okay, looking for a quick feed. As she's looking for a feed, I've set my pick. Once I've set my pick, I'm going to quickly, boom, and I'm going to be a second outlet. That girl has passed the ball there. She's looking to either go. If everybody crashes on her, she dumps it to me. I finish. Right? That's the idea. It's a really simple idea. It can be done anywhere. You want to attack from the side? Okay, I'm going to drive in from the side. All right, I'm going to pull a stick out. I'm going to throw the ball here. All right, I'm going to drive down toward the goal and allow my crease attacker to come up off of me, looking to cut back up into the 8 for a quick catch and shot. Same concept. All right, I'm on the elbow. I throw the ball. I go set one up here. Girl comes off of me. Low defender slides. The low attack that's behind you elite creeps right up in front of the cage. Dump. Go. It's not rocket science. Never said it was. And I'm by no stretch am I perfect at X's and O's. But I try to make it as simple as I can for me to understand, because I feel like if I can understand it, my kids will. So, questions? Any questions so far? No? I don't know if that's good or bad.
I got a question.
Okay, go ahead.
How far are you setting your pick off of the test?
Good question. big thing on my picks, okay, is it's a time and space thing. Right? I've got to give the defender enough time to react. Okay? I also can't be behind them. Okay? So if that's the girl, I'm probably sitting right here. I'm going to be still. Okay? I'm putting a body's length in between us. All right? If she comes up over top, hopefully I'm on the top side. Okay? I'm not down low, and I'm not even with her. I want to be on the top side of it. Okay? Because if anything, she undercuts me back beneath. Great. Let her undercut me beneath me, and she goes and let's say she's a step behind this girl, so my pick really didn't look like it's set. Here you go. Still right back to me. You know, because and this is the good thing, because what ends up happening, kids want to go right up on top of it. Okay? No. I don't want to get there. Too much timing takes place. I want to be able to go, and step away. I'm standing right here. Right? Here she is. I'm going to be right here. She wants to come underneath. That's fine. Let her come underneath. Okay? Let her come underneath. If she wants to come over top, let her come over top. Because as soon as she goes one or the other, okay, I'm going to drop step and I'm going to be an outlet now. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? I think I'm almost done. I told y'all I didn't stay still. Yep, that's it. There's me. So I appreciate y'all sticking around, especially on a Saturday afternoon, me being the last one. So I thank y'all. Hopefully you learned something. Feel free to contact me. CoachPearre@gmail.com. That's my email. That's the one I answer all the time. So if there's anything I can do for any of you, please let me know. I'll be glad to help.